Hey there, everybody, and happy Big Brother 22 pre-season. It's been a couple of days since Jess and I were on here talking about it, and, we went from being still very, I think, nervous and skeptical to... I think we're more down the hole. Like, let's not pretend like we are now, at least, I don't want to speak too much for you, but I'm like, all right, it's happening. Let's go. Let's do it.
Listen, I was on here pouring cold water all over everything. I am down the hole in Unicorn Land
now. Come to Unicorn Land.
I feel a lot more confident that it's happening now, even though they still haven't announced anything, but I cannot help myself. It's over.
We're here, and inevitably they will probably announce that it's happening, like, as we are recording this, thinking that they won't be. I think, personally, they're not going to announce anything officially until they get test results back from a lot of the people that are apparently in sequester, because I don't think they want to announce something and then they hit like a code red crisis and they have to bring in more people and
knock on wood that doesn't happen. But,
yeah, obviously. Yeah, let's hope that it's all good. But we're going to talk through some of the names that have been reported out there overnight. TMZ put out a bunch of them. There's a person in particular that Evil Dick has mentioned that I really want to get into. Okay, all right, let's get it. Let's just dive right in, because I could keep going with my crazed levels of excitement and or nervousness and or that's my brain right now.
But if you do want to stay up to date with all of our Big Brother stuff, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell. I mean, we're going to have tons and tons of coverage again this summer. Last summer, we had multiple live feed updates a day.
Yes.
That is going to happen again, so make sure you stick with us.
Yeah, and we'll say this. Whenever they announce that Big Brother 22 is officially happening and they give us the green light to officially go insane, we will do a live. We will come on here. We can all bask in our glory together and celebrate that all of this waiting has now led to us yelling about various players on Twitter.
Yeah, we haven't done a live in a really long time. I think it's been like March was maybe the last time, something like that. So yeah, we're saving it. As soon as the actual date is announced, it'll be like within whatever, 10 minutes, an hour, somewhere in there if we're sleeping. As soon as we wake up, we're going to do a live with you guys.
Yeah, I'm programming an air horn into my face, or I don't know where, and all I got to do is like press my face and it goes, and then we're over here. That made no sense. Okay.
Getting into the list now. Okay, we'll start with the one from Evil Dick, who is Kesar. And, thanks, Evil Dick, for bringing this out.
Kesar's just, okay. Let's have the Kesar conversation. I like Kesar a lot. Mm-hmm. Kesar was not on my radar in the slightest to come back, because I was just like, okay, he hasn't played Big Brother since All Stars.
It's been a while.
He didn't actually make it that far on either one of the seasons that he was on. He's memorable. I feel like a lot of people genuinely like Kesar. I'm going to be really excited if Kesar is there. I feel like I am going to be let down tremendously by this, because they're probably going to get rid of him really soon again.
I like the idea of Kesar a lot. And the reason why is because he made it, sort of in the middle of the game sort of thing, or a little bit earlier in the game. And I think he's got the hunger to come back and play. And that's what I was kind of hoping for with this cast. I know there's lots of people, including me, that was hoping there was going to be all these huge names. And there will probably be some big names in the cast that are coming up. But I was hoping for some people like Kesar, who I think are going to be really hungry to play. And because of that, they're going to give us really good gameplay. That's what I'm hoping for, that they got something to prove. They really want to show that they are a great player.
The thing that I will say is that, Kesar, Janelle, they have played a little bit together. Maybe this is the... Hey, Janelle, you're not going to automatically just be ostracized because you're competing against a bunch of people who know each other from, like, Big Brother and or The Challenge, and they're just all inclined. I have hope for Kesar. I am filled with hope. This is probably why I'm not altogether coherent. Plus, it's, like, just first thing in the morning. Cheers to everyone. Coffee's still going.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a little all over the place.
Okay, so we're going to get into the TMZ report. So they're claiming that sequester is on its way now and that they have a list of people who are part of this. And they're not saying who's actually part of the cast or who is an alternate or anything like that. They just named some people who they are claiming are going to be going into sequester or who are already in sequester. Yeah. So let's talk about it. So there are a few people that have been on the challenge. You mentioned that. So that puts the show in an interesting spot because it does mean that kind of like the sort of poker alliance.
Oh gosh, why we gotta revisit the poker alliance from Survivor?
From Survivor, except this is more real. These are people who are like spending a lot more time together on the challenge, and now they're going to be going here. Is that going to end up being kind of a problem? So some of the names are people like Josh, which, you know, that doesn't surprise anybody, I don't think. I mean, when we first heard All Stars is coming around, Josh was one of the first people I thought of. He's been on the challenge a bunch. He's been on Big Brother. Yeah. He just feels like he's in the reality circuit and he's happy to just do whatever comes his way.
Okay, so this is the thing. Like, I have not really watched the challenge all that much. I watched like the second half of this, I guess, current season of the challenge. I think the reunion is tonight. So I kind of have a sense of what was going on with Josh. And by the way, Josh on the challenge, it's the same thing as Josh on Big Brother.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that makes sense.
He's loud. He's still, like, causing problems. He's still crying a lot. It's the same sort of thing. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and proclaim that Josh is a great Big Brother player. Josh won Big Brother because people hate Paul. Like, it is the same reason Cody won AFP, because people hate Paul. Like, that's all it is with Josh. He will cause drama. He will bang some pot and pan. I'm about to conjure up evil dick for the second time at this thing, because it just totally stole his move. But like, that's Josh. Bailey is also on the TMZ list. I don't think Casey was on the TMZ list, but she's been out there, and she and Bailey had some issues on the challenge. I don't know if that carried over after the game or not. Bailey, Bailey, she's going to be entertaining. She's going to be a big personality. Yeah, I know that Bailey and Tyler had some stuff that happened on Big Brother 20. I don't know if that...
It was a long time ago, though, so I'm hoping that real life kind of came in, The house is the house, and away from the house, sometimes people can just move past that stuff. It's been a while.
Yeah, I will be the first person to admit, I'm not very good at sort of, like, keeping up with, this person's at this music festival with this person is, like, selling an Instagram product with this other person. Like, I
do not keep up with that at all, so anything that anyone's really out there doing outside, like I'm into you when you're in the game, and when you're out of the game and you're living your life, I'm not there with you anymore.
It's sort of like we are releasing them back into the wild, all these house guests who have been there, and then you just...
Except for Dan. I watch his Twitch.
Okay, with the exception of Dan, apparently. Everyone else, you get to go and just, like, fly away. By the way, I still do not believe that Dan is trolling us. Dan is not on any TMZ list. Dan is not on this season, probably.
No, I do not feel that he is. I know that there are still some tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists out there that think that he went on a stream for an hour and lied to everybody. I just don't think so. He's going to lie in Big Brother. He'll troll a little bit online, but I really can't see him spending an hour lying to everybody to try to... he's trying to gain fans, and he's trying to gain people to watch a stream. He's not going to go on there and lie to everybody.
I have a great idea.
Okay.
What if Dan agreed to be on this season if he could Twitch from the house, and then every day at the same time he goes to the diary room, everyone just thinks he's in a confessional, and he's in there like playing, well, I don't know what Dan plays, but he's just in there streaming for like 3 hours.
I hate this idea. He doesn't get to have a choice where he gets to actually talk to the outside world. That's a no for me.
Of course I don't think, it would be, okay, I am in mad scientist mode. It would be hilarious, and it would be entirely unfair. But it would be unfair
All
fans
right.
on this season anyway, because he would school all you people.
All right, so we're going to get back to the TMZ list here because we're almost 10 minutes
Yeah,
in.
okay, yeah, all
Okay,
right.
so we've talked about Josh, we've talked about Bailey. We're going to talk about Paulie.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we have to. So it looks like he's going to be back again, which I'm not that excited about. I'm not going to pretend that I am.
Okay, I am all for Paulie coming back into the house if you just give Paulie more punishments like the pie thing, where Paulie crying, making pies was probably my favorite moment through most of Big Brother 18 because it was just, he was such a tool and he
Yeah,
was
he
just
was.
so irritating for a lot of the season, and I didn't like how he treated other people in the house, especially some of the women, and I don't know what he's been up to over the past year or so. I don't know if he's different or anything. Within my heart, I am telling myself that Paulie is an alternate and they're not bringing Paulie on the season, and that will help me get through the next little while.
Well, now I'm going to pour some cold water on you because I think that he probably is not an alternate. I think they need more of the villain archetypes on the season. So having Paulie and having Josh in there, and I think that's what's happening here.
You have Josh. I know Paul's not on the TMZ list, I don't think, but you probably are gonna have Paul.
Yeah, he's not on the TMZ list, but I will be shocked if Paul is not in this house.
We already have enough other really polarizing people that are gonna start fights online. You don't need to also throw Paulie into the mix. Give us more Kaser joy. Don't give us the Paulie. Ugh.
Okay, so there's also some names on the list that I was really, I guess, a little surprised to see because I just wasn't. I've heard the rumor and I guess I just didn't want to believe it because it was too good to be true, which is Danielle Donato. I love her and I really enjoy watching her on the show. So when I first heard her name being it's been floated around for the past month, I've just been like, I can't believe in that because if I believe in that and they take that away from me, I'm going to be really pissed off. And she is a mom and she is married and she's kind of settled into her life. She doesn't really have anything to prove on this show to me anymore. Like, just because you don't win doesn't mean you're not a good player. I think she's a really great player. So I just didn't know if she felt the need to come back when things are really going well for her with nothing to prove to me. So yeah, I was surprised to see her name on the list, but man, please don't take this away from me.
Please.
Like, I'm going to be really mad at you, TMZ, if you're going to bring this out and then pull it away.
This is okay. So there are things that I think Jess and we're on an island separate from a lot of Big Brother fans with a couple of things. Like again, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we're on an island that Mr. Pictacular deserves more consideration for this season than he's probably going to get because he got totally screwed in season 11 and he was kind of dominating a lot of the house. But yeah. I don't think we're on
Coup de Jeff.
With the Coup de Jeff coming in and destroying Mr. Pictacular's glory, but I think we're not on an island in loving Danielle Donato. I think a lot of people love Danielle Donato. This one's been out there for a while. I think like you, I've just been sort of like, okay, do I want to inevitably be disappointed by being excited about this idea because I love Danielle. She's going to bring in drama. She's going to bring in entertainment. I think she's a pretty good player. I think she probably just wants to play a season that her dad is not a part of. It's just my guess.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that idea alone.
Yeah, that excites me.
Okay, so we're also going to talk about Janelle. So Janelle has been floated since all of this first came out. And she's someone that I can see wanting to come back and play again. I mean, she also has her own life going on right now and her family and stuff like that. But she's a player, and I think that excitement of playing this game, like, Janelle has that in her. This is a game that it feels like is very much a part of her, and that she just is that person that loves to play the game. So I feel that if she's been asked that if it's the right timing, like she does have a family, it depends what's going on, and there is everything with the virus and everything, but I think as long as she knows that her family is doing okay and they're safe and she's going to be safe, she's not going to have anything come back there, that she would do this. So not surprising to see her on the list. Her name has been floated forever now.
I think no matter like what list or rumor or carrier pigeon you're subscribing to that's giving you names for this season, I think Janelle is on. I think there's just so much smoke around it.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that was sort of like, okay, do we really need to see somebody play Big Brother for a fourth time? Because she's already on 6, 7,
Yes.
she's on 14. But your reaction tells me everything I need to know, and that is, yes, Janelle is going to be competitive. Janelle is going to fight hard. I don't know if there's anything about Janelle personality-wise that we haven't seen on Big Brother before, but you know what? I really don't care, to be honest. I would rather see Janelle 8 times than Pauly a second time, so...
Yeah, I just want people who are hungry to play, who are really have a love of the game, and Janelle is that person, so... welcome back to Big Brother, Janelle.
Now, Jess has given Janelle the key already, and so let's get really polarizing now, because Nicole Franzel's name is on this. This is not the Nicole I was trying to conjure up into the universe. I wanted Nicole Anthony. I still want to believe in Nicole Anthony. It's not that I think Nicole Franzel is a bad player. I think Nicole is a good player. I think she has done reasonably well. I mean, she obviously won Big Brother 18, and she deserves credit for that. The thing that just bugs me about Nicole sometimes is it's a little bit like Taylor Swift is at an award show and she's winning an award and she acts like she's surprised. It's like, Taylor, you're incredible at what you deserve the award. Nicole, you're a good Big Brother player. She acts like shocked all the time about every single thing. And
Yes.
it's just, I don't find Nicole to be super entertaining on the live feeds. I just remember her in season 18, she spent just a lot of time just sitting around with he who shall not be named, having conversations about, I hate that guy. I don't want to mention his name. So, she's not super engaging live feed wise. She is a good player. Maybe they're just thinking, all right, we need some strategy to be mixed in here because we can't have 20, well, they're going to have 20 people now, so it's going to be a different story altogether, but they can't have 16 Joshes running around all the time.
No, they can't. They need people who are there to play the game a little more, and Nicole will play the game. I agree. She's not that entertaining on the feeds, and I'm guessing that her whole, I'm sleeping on 20 Grammys, but I still don't understand how I have them feeling of, I'm winning the game, I'm doing really well, but I don't understand, I can't believe it. At this point, I would like to see just some of that fall away. Just Nicole knows that she's a good player at this point, that she does have some moves. Just come into the game with a little bit of that confidence. I don't need to see her coming around being like, I'm the greatest of all time or anything like that, but like just come in with your confidence. You've earned your spot. Let's just see how you do this time. And don't give us any of this, I can't believe it's happening to me. We all believe it now, so.
We all believe it, Nicole.
Okay, so let's talk about Tyler. He's on the list. No surprise there. His name has been floated for a while. I have felt for a while that if he was asked back, he would say yes. So I saw this. I'm like, yeah, okay, who's next?
Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about with Tyler because he's a really good player. You can make a case he should have won his season. He also shouldn't have been as loyal to Casey as he was, but that's an entirely different story. He will go in. He's probably going to have a big target on his back. He's somebody who I would actually, this is maybe a controversial take, I wouldn't get rid of Tyler right away because I think he is someone you can hide behind a little bit. I would actually get rid of Nicole right away because I think Nicole is going to do that. Are you really going to target me? I'm not that good. She's going to worm her way into your brain and she's going to mind control you. Keep Tyler around for a little while. By and large, I like Tyler. I don't have any issues with Tyler being on this season. I think it's like Jenna. You got to have good competitive players, and Tyler's going to be competitive.
I think he's competitive, and I think he's there to play the game, and I think he has a love of the game. So I'm excited to see Tyler back. We'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
Now the next person we're going to talk about is Ian Terry, who is someone that when I saw his name on the list, I was like, what? How is this? This is really happening? Because he's somebody that I don't know why. I just didn't think that I would see him play again unless it was like the absolute right circumstance. And maybe that's what this is for him. But I just don't think he was going to come back. I mean, he beat Dan. He doesn't really need to come back. And I know that there's a lot of people, including me, that were like, oh, Dan should have won the season. But it does take away from what Ian did that season. And he did do a lot. So to see him come back would be very exciting for me. I'd really like to see him come back. But yeah, I saw his name and I'm just like, that one I just am not 100% believing yet. It's sort of a too good to be true. I don't know. It'd be like if I saw Dan on the list. Yeah. I just don't believe it.
I'll share, since we're 20 minutes into this video, let's do story time. I'll share my favorite Ian Terry moment for Big Brother 14. All right. It was double eviction night. This is the night that Dan really lost this season because he gets HOH. And Dan, he tries to do the whole, Ian, it's your turn to go up on the block now, and trying to be like his buddy and his Renegades partner. And, so Ian goes up on the block. Dan really wants to get Ian out at this point. Ian wins the veto and totally just screws up Dan's entire plan. It was like, at that moment, I was like, oh, they may not be able to get rid of this guy. And, Ian was like a scrawny little kid, and you wouldn't think Ian had that much business competing in the way that he did sort of later on. I'm excited that Ian could be a part of this season. I'm skeptical, kind of like you are, about the report, but I feel like Ian is, to quote Jeff Probst, of my life is fine sort of guy. Like, he's 31. He seems like he's got a pretty good life. I don't think he needs to do Big Brother again. If he does, I will gladly take him, because we've got a lot of, really, competitive, physical people on here this season. I need someone to relate to as someone who spends an unhealthy amount of time either sitting at a computer or playing Skyrim or Final Fantasy VII. I need an Ian Terry.
Yeah, and I feel like for the most part, this list does have people like Ian that are there to compete through the mental challenges as well as the physical challenges. And if Ian is really on this season, I'm going to be really, I'm going to be really excited to see that. I legit never thought I was ever going to see him back again.
No.
So the last person on this list is Hayden Moss, who is someone that we've talked about that we thought would be asked back and would probably say yes. I mean, he has been on the show. He's been over on Survivor. He's been around. He also he's not like Josh where he's going to do every reality show that comes along, but he has done a few, so it wasn't too surprising that he would say yes to come back to something like this. And if someone like Ian Terry's on there, Hayden may be like, oh, okay, I am interested in playing against someone like Ian. I mean, I would want to play against someone like Ian. However, if I came in and I saw Hayden in there and I saw someone like Tyler in there or Paulie in there, Hayden would be the first person on my list to get out of the house. And I know that sounds weird, knowing that there's like a Janelle in there and there's an Ian in there. But I've seen what Hayden does when there's other bros in the house. And it turns into a problem, and it turns into a problem really fast. So he's got to go right away. He can't lead another brigade to a win. It's not happening.
Hayden's a good player. Hayden is, he's smarter, I think, than people give him credit for based on how he looks, because he just looks like a bro. I think he's good at rounding up people. I also do think if Hayden goes into this game, I think Hayden's going to be one of the first people evicted. And I think
And he should be.
He's a threat, but he's in like this weird no man's land where it's like if Kaser's on this season, at least he and Janelle, they know each other, they've competed with each other.
Yep.
Hayden, unless the Enzo rumors are true, I know Evil Dick's talked a little bit about Enzo. If Enzo and Hayden end up in there together, maybe Hayden has an ally. But Hayden, I don't know, really knows any of these people on any sort of big way. He doesn't have a pregame advantage. And, I think Tyler probably looks at Hayden and is like, bro, he's trying to take my spot as the kind of athletic dude with the weird hair who's going to end up making it pretty far. So
he could, but at the same time, bros usually come together because they know they're all targets. So if we've seen it so many times where all the bros just come together. And because they kind of need each other to protect each other. And, feels like there's going to be a lot less in the way of showmances if this is what the cast is. I mean, Danielle's married, Nicole's with somebody, Janelle's with somebody, Bailey's with Swaggy.
This is the no showmance dance.
Yeah, and it's really an interesting idea that this is even a thing, because we know that this show loves its showmances, even though most of us just are like groaning through them.
Yeah. I don't need to watch people cuddle or fight I think after what we went through with Jackson and Holly and Jack and Elise, we don't
need to even talk about that. We know. We need a break. We need to just enjoy a season that, well, it may have Polly on it. We need a season that has people we mostly enjoy on it. But all right, what do you think about the rumored cast? Do you like these people? Do you not like these people? Are you hoping still like me that Danielle Reyes somehow ends up being a part of this? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further. Check that link in the description to the store, and we'll see you here next time.